There is a huge lie about single women over 50 that almost everyone believes. And I hate to admit it, but for years I believed it too. And it's very likely that you believe it too. So for most of my life, I thought that being single meant I wasn't wanted. And that made me put up with partners who weren't right for me because I was terrified of being old and alone. But when I became single at 54 and finally recognized this lie, it changed my whole perspective. And the way I discovered it took me by surprise. Hey, I'm Tess. I spent 40 years chasing love, convinced it was the only way to be happy. But what I learned about being single after 50 turned out to be the exact opposite of everything I was taught. So since I was about 15 years old, I spent an enormous part of my energy trying to find a man, trying to find a relationship. That was my big life goal. And I thought that if I didn't have a relationship, that meant that something was wrong with me. Like nobody wanted me, I must be defective. I mean, have you ever felt like that being single? I feel like a lot of people might feel that way, and you're definitely not alone. And it's understandable because this is what society tells us, right? I mean, society can be a real a-hole sometimes, but you know, our friends, our family, our culture, they all say the same thing. They encourage and reinforce this idea. And I remember even like going to the grocery store or wherever, I would always have kind of one eye scanning around looking for a potential partner. And that makes me feel kind of gross saying that, but tell me I'm not alone here, like going to the grocery store and scanning the cereal aisle like it's Bumble. So I wound up getting married in my mid-20s. He was selfish, irresponsible, and left me with debt and bad credit. And then I dated a ton, and man, dating in your 40s is like... Finally, I found someone and we were together 9 years. Turns out he was unemployed, lying, and texting other women. And when that ended, I was terrified. And I remember thinking, great, now I have to start over at 54 and no one's gonna want me. I've got baggage and age spots. Guess I'll just be sad and lonely. But here's the thing. Sometimes the universe gives you the shove that you can't give yourself. And I'll explain a little bit more of that later, but that breakup turned out to be the start of something that I never expected. So before I tell you what the big lie was, let me tell you what happened after that. So I kicked him out, I cried a lot, and the place felt empty for a while. But I also started to feel a little sense of relief. And about a month or two later, I decided to go on Hinge. Not necessarily to date, but just to kind of see what was out there. But I did wind up meeting a few people and I was not impressed. I remember one guy interrupted a fascinating story I was telling to ask me if I dyed my hair. Like, were you even listening to me at all, dude? And then I did date a guy, a really lovely guy, for a couple of months who was relationship material. But I just wasn't into it. And I couldn't figure out why. And this is when that lie about women over 50 really started to become clear. So here's what I realized. This guy was texting me every day and it was sweet, but I just kept thinking, ugh, you're interrupting my peace. I'm over here enjoying my own company, doing my own thing. I'm working on my business, on my passions, and planning trips, and having to text someone all the time was starting to feel like another obligation. And I sort of feel shitty saying that, but I shouldn't, because that's how I really felt. So this is the lie, that women over 50 are single and lonely because they can't find a partner. But the truth is, they're not single because they can't find a partner. They're single because they don't want a partner. And I'll tell you exactly why. We don't want someone lying on our couch asking about dinner. We don't want to worry about someone's nagging cough because they refuse to go to the doctor. And we don't want to watch another damn Marvel movie and then listen to someone moan because we want to watch the new Lena Dunham show. Now I get to keep my home how I like, do what I want, eat what I want, walk around the house looking tore up with bad breath, and focus on what really lights me up. And honestly, I wouldn't change that for anything. So many women are tired of giving up their peace to cater to somebody else's needs. Drop me some comments if you're with me here. It is no secret that women carry the bulk of the load in most relationships. Working full-time, cooking, cleaning, raising kids, playing therapist, planning trips, paying the bills. It's exhausting. We've done it our whole lives and we're done. And that was such a freeing realization. Being single doesn't mean we're unwanted. It means we're choosing ourselves, our peace, our freedom. And that's better than any relationship that made me feel smaller. And it's funny, people don't really seem to get it. Like my friends and my family, they're always asking me if I'm dating, how's my love life? And when I tell them I'm just not interested, they look at me like I'm some sort of alien. And listen, yes, I know this doesn't apply to all women, but it does apply to a lot of women. A lot of women over 50 are single by choice. They are choosing to be single. And you know what? This isn't just about men. I have a good friend who's a lesbian and she doesn't want a relationship either. And I know there are still 50+ women out there who do want a relationship. I have friends in their 50s who are still looking, and that's totally fine. But they're not willing to settle for just anyone. They are not sacrificing their peace for anyone who doesn't add value to their lives. And definitely not for someone who subtracts from it. And once I stopped believing that lie about being unwanted and lonely after 50, I actually found something better than romantic love. I found self-love. I found independence. I built stronger friendships and passion projects like this YouTube channel and helping other midlife women. I don't have to worry about anyone else by myself. And it feels like I've been released from this prison of always trying to make a partner happy or trying to find the perfect relationship to make my life complete. And I wish I'd known this years ago. But then again, maybe it took this long for a reason, so that it would finally stick. And let's talk about that universe. So I swear the universe had my back when I caught my boyfriend texting those other women. I hadn't been strong enough to leave him myself, even though all the red flags were there. It was like the universe's way of saying, if you're not gonna get out, I'm gonna push you out. Because something better is waiting for you on the other side, girl. Thanks, universe. So if you're worried about being single at any age, don't be. And if you know a woman over 50 who's single, don't feel sorry for her. Chances are she is single by choice and living her best damn life. If you're over 50 and single, you're not unwanted and you don't have to be sad. Alone doesn't have to mean lonely. You're free. And freedom might be the happiest chapter of your life. And if you do still want a relationship, that's totally fine. But don't believe for a second that something's wrong with you. But here's something you need to believe. You're a bad mamma jamma. I'll see you in the next video.